So programmatic as a sort of percent of total, what kind of growth are you seeing?
Well, that's a great question because I think it's so hard to define programmatic. You know, how does Forrester define it?
Yeah. How does SpotXchange define it?
Well, I mean, it's changed over the years, but in the beginning, I would say that we had zero programmatic, and we launched in 2007, and we launched an exchange for video advertising, and we went to the market, and the pitch to the publishers was always, hey, we're a platform to help you sell your unsold inventory, auction it off in real time. However, it was a little early on the buy side. Agencies preferred to not use self-service tools and dynamic pricing. It was really they wanted to use an IO and guarantee.
Whereas at the trading desk at Razorfish, we were like, but it's not. Is it really real time? Like, it was like somewhere in the middle at that point.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Yeah, you had the IO agency world that didn't know what to do with you, and then the sort of early ad exchange buyers that maybe didn't know what to do with it either.
They were lean years. They were
lean
tough.
years.
They were tough.
Yeah.
But it was okay because now today 50%, at least 50%, we've hit a tipping point.
Really?
Is being bought programmatically via our RTB API from our good partners, DSPs like TubeMogul and Turn and DataZoo, and starting to work more and more on an operational level through those DSPs with the agency trading desk.
Are you seeing, does it tend to be more sort of video specialists that are participating? Or are you seeing more like DSP generalists that are participating? What's that mix like?
Wow. Well, I think in the beginning it was certainly, video specialists. And I think we're still, in that era. I think it's very difficult to do it all. But I do see a number of the companies that are very ambitious that don't, just vertically focus on the video space. They're starting to get a grasp on it. It's not the largest, part of their business.
Yeah.
It is a very different business. To perhaps to the question and the point, we do in general see on the display side, this is mostly a direct response medium, trying to grab more brand dollars. In the video side, I can say we really have no direct response dollars, and what that translates to is a lot of challenges, but a whole different slew of issues for say even the publishers. Meaning, and again, our primary customers being the publishers. If a brand is if they're doing brand advertising, what they care about really is where are they showing up. I mean, it is about audience, but a lot of it is certainly they don't want to show up in a bad place. And for them, it's not. They can't lean on the crutch of say converting something at a CPA level. It's reaching an audience, and did they reach that particular audience? So what that requires is complete transparency. Well, then, if it's complete transparency and they need to, the buyer needs to know that, then the publisher needs to be prepared to unleash complete transparency. Where are you showing up?
Right.
And the challenge there would be, of course, what we've been talking a lot today, is on the supply side being, okay, I have a direct sales team. Now am I creating this sales channel conflict? So which leads to you have to create more controls that allow the publisher to protect themselves in essence.
So, well, but then how are the publisher conversations you're having different now than they were, a year ago?
I think partly there's two differences. One, we just have more tools and better tools.
So that's good.
Yeah, thank God. Good job, engineering. And product development. So we're giving them tools that allow them to see which brands are participating in their inventory and give them more control about blocking certain brands, lowering or raising prices on certain brands. Maybe they have a pre-existing relationship with these brands. But I think what that's led to the second part of your question would be we're working with more and more premium publishers. Okay. Right. So 2 years ago, I think a number of premium publishers wouldn't be caught dead talking to us, but because we've moved to beyond just the exchange, but more of a platform, I think it's important for everyone to understand the challenge for a lot of premium publishers, any publisher really, is the complexity of the buy side of the ecosystem. Meaning, now you're
talk about that.
Yeah, I mean, there's ad networks.
Yep.
Well, so you have direct buys and direct sales. Then you have, and the traditional ad server is excellent for servicing those. But then you have ad network buys, and these ad network buys tend to want to buy on an optional basis, audience basis. Now you have DSPs and ATDs, and they also want to, but they want to buy on a programmatic basis. Traditional ad servers are going to fall, flat on their face with that.
You totally read my mind, because I wanted to ask the ad serving question, and it just feels to me like the ad serving world has been fairly stagnant for a long time, with some very established dominant players that were very, very sticky, but that the systems were not very intelligent. And then when we're looking at programmatic, that's one of the reasons I push on this question of what programmatic means, because if you're using a dumb old ad server and doing it programmatically, what are you really automating versus what are you really injecting intelligence into or not? So, what do you think about the ad serving question? I'm sure you guys have thought about this, or do you see anybody out there that's doing it really smart, like real-time decisioning that's...
Yeah, I think, to be honest, I think if you want to go ahead and lump your ad server and say, well, this is for our direct sold and this is for our indirect, right? Our non-guaranteed. I guess that's fine for now, but I think long term,
okay, good.
That's not really all about maximizing yield.
Yeah.
Right. So we do see that today, where they will leverage our platform, for instance, to yield optimize against their non-guaranteed sources of inventory. That's a no-brainer, and to give them the transparency at the brand level, again, of what are they bidding, not just what are they buying at, what are they bidding, which informs. Really, it should inform your sales team and your media planners of what should we really price the direct sold. So I think you really have to look at it holistically. You got when you're talking about yield, you should look at everything, not just direct sold.
Is anybody doing that? I didn't mean to
not
interrupt,
yet.
Okay.
No, that's fine. I think it will. I think it takes the buy side. Listen, no one wants to, everyone here, we're talking about programmatic. I'm going to guess no one really, is, we're excited, but we don't want to just stay in our 30%, box of monetizing inventory. We would like to take this technology and expand it to everything. And so direct sold as well. And I think it's really important for us. I kind of see our jobs, as here's the technology and here's some service. Now we really need to educate, at least on our side, the publishers. Yeah. How do you get the direct sales team involved selling to the DSPs and the agency trading desks? So I don't think the agency trading desks want to stick in this, just non-guaranteed world, right? They want to buy direct. And of course, programmatic means efficiencies on both sides. And so I think, I think that overall, that's the goal for everyone.
Do you feel like you still hear a lot of publishers referring to that inventory as a remnant, versus indirect? Like this question of premium versus non-premium and equating that with direct versus indirect. Does that still happen?
Yeah, yes. A lot, but again, we launched an exchange in 2007, so it's for video advertising. Yeah, so we're patient. Yeah. Our jobs, I think, I've learned this lesson way too many times. Our jobs are to talk in their language, not our language. We can use, all the programmatic terminology in the world. Yeah. But I think our jobs are to train, say on the publisher side, the direct sales team on how to work with these agency trading desks and DSPs. And it's really, really hard, and it's going to take years, but and I think it's going to take the buy side to say to the publisher side, this is how we want to work with you. Right. And it's just going to take time.
Right. And the buy side's still figuring it out. You have some very smart folks that have a very good idea of what they want, and then there's all the rest of the world. The scale question, right? I know I talked to the agency folks about that. What are you seeing from kind of a quality inventory standpoint? Tons of competitive pressure for buying. How big is that these days? Versus kind of everything else that maybe folks don't want so much.
Yeah, I think listen, when we started, our market was not ours, but the overall market was, I think, about 200 million, and now it's $3.5 billion. But those first few years, you know,
That's what, monthly?
I'm sorry, annual, 3.5 billion annual, according to Forrester. And so it is growing. I think it was slower than everyone thought in the early years. And then, you know, we're supposed to see that within just the next few years, it's supposed to double again. But when you think about it, you're not even counting international. You're not talking about you know, tablets, and you're not talking about mobile, connected TV, et cetera. So I think you're talking about a much larger market in reality.
Yeah, that's a good question, actually. So there's desktop kind of video, and there's mobile video, there's tablet video. How much action is programmatic over there?
Oh, it's not that much.
Like 10 impressions a day?
A little more than that. A little more than that. But I think that it's about to explode. And I'm not one to say this is the year of.
Okay. But you're going to say it,
I'm
right?
going to say it. It's the month of. No, I think we're really, really close. I think the buy side is really starting to clamor for it. But back to your question, I think, you know, again, I think we are seeing a lot of scale. I think, you know, a lot. The reason it was so slow in the beginning is because there were so many pieces, different partners, ecosystem partners that had to participate. The content owners and the rights, you know, ownership there, and how do you monetize it? It wasn't very helpful when, you know, I can't remember who said it, but turning, you know, traditional dollars into digital pennies. And so I think though we're there. We're seeing a lot more come online onto those devices, et cetera. So that's why I do believe the numbers where, you know, it's $3.5 billion now, but 7 billion, 10 billion, 20 billion, you know, in you know, kind of the near term.